Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2018 general readings. Thank you for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. Thank you always for those of you who continue to share and like and follow and subscribe and give your feedback and comments. And thank you always to all of my clients out there, both regular and new, for the privilege of keeping me so busy with personal one-on-one readings. Thank you so much for continuing to reach out. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you've forgotten the info, you can get a little more information and my contact details by going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button there. Or you can click on the description bar of any of the videos I post for contact info and a little more information too. Turnaround time for personal readings is pretty fast, as I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do, so I work pretty diligently with your schedules to get you readings as quickly as possible. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. I can usually get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours of your initial inquiry. And I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life. So if you're interested, send me an email and we will go from there. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also provided. And that's good for fast answers to quick, easy questions. All right, well, let's move right into this reading. This reading is for the water sign of Scorpio for the month of November 2018. Let's see what's in store for our Scorpions. Scorpio for November 2018. If you know your rising and your moon sign, watch those videos as well. They can provide additional clarification. General readings always resonate a little differently because there's so many people watching. Okay, Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, we begin with the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Swords, followed by the Page of Wands. We have the Eight of Wands, followed by the Magician. And we have the King of Wands, followed by the World. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is the Seven of Wands. Okay, Scorpio, it's an interesting reading. I feel like for the larger portion of you, this is going to be something to do with work, career, path, job, or a project of some kind in your life. And for a smaller portion of you, I feel like this might be in regards to maybe a love or romance relationship. But I feel like the larger portion of you, it's more the general focus for November 2018 is in something that you're building, something that you're building in terms of money, job, career path, or a project of some kind. Could even be an artistic or creative endeavor as well. And I feel like you've been working on whatever this is for quite a long time, maybe even from other people's point of view, a little stubbornly. Other people may have told you, are you sure, you're investing all this time, all this energy, all this whatever. Are you sure this is going to pay off for you in the end, whether it's, work or career or project or a relationship? But I feel like you've been kind of stubbornly in there defending all the effort that you've put into this thing. And of course, being in a general reading, what this thing is going to resonate differently. But I do feel like the larger portion of you, money, project, work, career path. Smaller portion of you, relationship. So your overall energy focus for the month is the Seven of Wands. Now, sevens, you have two sevens too. You have the Seven of Pentacles. Sevens numerically is a number in the tarot of, it can represent reflection, contemplation, taking stock of what you have. It's a card that can be defensive energy, a card that is about motives or motivations as well, the number I mean. The Seven of Wands is primarily a defensive card. It's a card that represents being challenged in some way. You can see the man is standing in front of the door to his home, his castle, his keep, whatever it is that he feels is important to him because of what he has invested in it. This could be, an actual home if it's under foreclosure or something. It could be a relationship. It could be another person you're standing up for or with. It could be an ideology, a mindset, a way that you have of looking at something, and you're defending it because it's being either threatened or challenged in some way. Not necessarily a negative energy. I mean, sometimes having something that we are invested in challenged has the positive consequence of allowing us to kind of define it a little clearer for ourselves. Or it can sometimes cause us to examine the thing that we're defending and ask ourselves, do I need to defend this? Is this something that's working for me? Do I need to let go of? So it's a card about it can be a card that represents, because you're being challenged in some way, something that you've invested a lot into is being challenged in some way. You could be defending it or standing up for it, but that also gives you an opportunity to kind of examine it as well and take a look at, okay, what am I defending? Am I still defending something that I believe in 100%, all aspects of it, or do I need to re-examine this as well? Because you can take this energy a little too far and just become stubbornly rooted in something just because you are, just because you've always done it, even if it might not be working for you anymore. So cautionary piece of advice with that energy. So, and I am recording these, by the way, in the last few days of October. So as timing is always fluid, more so in a general reading, some of you, I usually pull 2 cards per week, but for some of you, this may be, a little bit earlier, a little bit later. So keep that in mind. So that's your overall general energy and focus, that Seven of Wands for November 2018. Now we end October, begin the month with the Seven of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. So Pentacles is earth energy, and you have 2 Pentacles, 4 Wands, Magician, the World, and the Queen of Swords. So a lot of fire energy, which is Wands, and Pentacles energy. Wands is fire energy in the tarot. That's the element which governs the suit of Wands, and fire is the energy of creation. So there's a creative element to it, and it usually deals with creativity in some form or aspect. All the wand cards do, whether that's in regards to relationship or work and career or spirituality. It's about, building and creating, and it's very action oriented, forward, fast moving, fluid energy. Pentacles is earth energy. That's the element which governs this suit. So in the tarot, this usually manifests in tangible things that we can see, or tangible results of things in, even in love or spirituality. But it can often manifest in the earthly, tangible, concrete, day-to-day aspects of our life: money, job, property, resources, finances, assets, etc. Things we can see and touch and feel, or the result of our efforts. So here's another 7, the Seven of Pentacles. This is a card of reflection and assessment. It's a card of taking stock. It's harvest time, and she's taking a look at what all her hard work, everything that she's been investing in, has gotten her. And she's trying to perhaps make decisions, or he, based on what she sees. Does what she now have in front of her match the efforts that she's put into it? Has she gotten what she wanted? Did she get more? Did she get less? Should she pick this harvest and continue with the same harvest next growth season? Should she make changes, or just pick what's there and then go off into different pastures, or try to grow something new, different? So it's a card of taking stock of where you are in a particular area of your life, and asking yourself if your investments your work, your effort has paid off in what you now currently have, or are you still moving along towards, in a reasonable way, achieving or manifesting what you hope to manifest. So what's that about? Well, the clarifying accompanying card is the Ten of Pentacles. Now, you have 2 cards in here which represent completion. And the tarot, tens usually represent a cycle ending, coming to an end, or coming to a closure point where you'll start another aspect of it, or transition into a different aspect of it, or a cycle just ending completely. Again, Pentacles energy here. There's a strong attachment to home and family with this as well. It can represent family money, family business, family estate, Um, but if it doesn't represent that, the energy with it is about abundance that comes from the long, slow wait of time and history that went into building it up. Initially, this was called or referred to as the inheritance card. So, what does inheritance mean? It means something that you get in the present day, or something that you have that comes from the long, slow accumulation of time and effort and history that went into building it up. And it could be a sense of abundance that you get that other people's work built up for you. Uh, this card can represent long-term relationships and marriage, that kind of long-term, stable, grounded relationship that has the weight of history, a lot of time behind it. It can represent family home, a family business or property of some kind. It can represent retirement, retirement with a good retirement package because of how long you've worked for a particular company. So there's this sense of taking stock around the end of October, beginning of November. It could be a particular job or on a particular career path with another project of some kind or with a relationship. Although, again, I feel like the larger portion of you, it has to do with something in your concrete life. So taking stock, are my investments paying off? Is it time for a retirement, or should I start planning for that in the near future? Family home, family business, family estate, is it worth continuing? Whatever the Ten of Pentacles, might represent for you, whatever your investment, you've been standing by, there's a sense of kind of taking stock and asking yourself if you should continue to work the same, invest the same amount of whatever you've been investing in it. Is it still going to pay off in this? So thinking. Now, next to that, we have the Queen of Swords and the Page of Wands. Pisces, which I did a couple of readings ago, also had a lot of energy around this area of their life as well, although Cancer did not so much. So, Queen of Swords and the Page of Wands. So, the Queen of Swords would represent an air sign person, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Showing up as a queen, but it could be a female as well. Kings and queens represent individuals who have reached the top of their game. They've mastered their suit beyond the young, immature energy of the page, the impulsive, spontaneous energy of the knights. They've basically mastered the traits which are character traits which are inherent to their suit. Swords is air energy, so it's mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. It's about how we look at things, our belief systems, perceptions, because that affects directly how we relate to the world and people and communicate. So the Queen of Swords has a long road behind her. If she's an actual person, and it's paired with the Page of Wands, so I feel like this is could represent somebody with whom you have or will or could have a pretty significant relationship with, particularly in the area of your life that might deal with job, career, or any kind of pursuits or endeavors that you're interested in. Because I feel like there's somebody there who's significant in the month of November, represented by this card, who's coming with a background. She's got a long road, or he has a long road behind them. She's learned quite a bit through trial and error. She's succeeded and failed. She has a long road behind her. She is a person who's very insightful, very clear. She likes things to make sense. She tends to think very clearly with a lot of insight and logic, practicality. She doesn't suffer fools wisely because she's got a whole closet full of t-shirts that say been there, done that in her closet already. So she may have more patience in some areas and less patience in others because of the road that she's walked. She's a person with a lot of experience and wisdom to share. She might come across as a bit emotionally reserved or even blunt. She doesn't necessarily mean to come across that way. That's just her way and because of the life that she's lived. But somebody in business, this would be somebody who's very smart, very insightful, very practical, somebody who has a lot of experience to share. Now it's clarified by, or that could be the energy, that you might be manifesting with somebody else. It's accompanied and clarified by the Page of Wands, which would represent a younger person or somebody who does not have the same level of experience, because this is a page, they're just starting out. It's fire energy. So this represents kind of in the present energy, this can represent, starting off new again with kind of a clean slate, and the building up of momentum is kind of in your favor. Uh, Pages can represent young people, messages, apprentices. Energetically, they always represent the introductory start of a new path, because they're just starting out. And it's got a lot of creative fire energy, very enthusiastic. The page has a long ways to go and a lot to learn, and they know it. But they're kind of all fired up and willing to start. So I feel like there may be a partnership or somebody that could give you advice, if not actual partnership, in your environment or coming in the month of November, Scorpio, that could represent a very significant partnership in your life, even if it's only in advice or resources rather than an active, right up front on the front burner partnership. It could be a mentor of some kind, or an investor, or an entrepreneur that kind of mentors you, or something of that sort. And it could be on the flip side too. You could be the Queen of Swords and somebody else could be the Page of Wands that you're mentoring or helping with. And this could be, if this is about investment and retirement, or looking, towards the future, the Queen of Swords might represent, an investment advisor or somebody in that capacity as well. But it looks like it's significant, and whatever advice it is, I feel like it needs to be listened to and taken under consideration. Now, next to that, we have the Eight of Wands with the Magician. So, and in terms of romance, the details and specifics might play out a little differently, but the energy kind of fundamentally remains the same. You may be kind of taking stock of the relationship, taking a look at all the effort you've put into it. It may be a relationship that's been one of those that requires a lot of hard work. Other people may have. And here's the other aspect too that I kind of felt when I was laying the cards out. Whether it's in the business or entrepreneurial aspect of your life or the relationship, I feel like some of you may be getting a little, or may have, at least in the past, leading up to now, may have gotten some outside chatter or negative flack from people who care and mean well, but it's kind of like, are you still doing this? Are you still investing in this? How do you know it's ever going to go anywhere, kind of thing. Whether it is or isn't is up to you, but it looks like this is something you're continuing with, that spirit for the time being is saying, yes, you're on the right track, even though you put in a lot of hard work and there may still be a little bit left to go. So next we have the Eight of Wands and the Magician. So the Eight of Wands is a card that can represent communication, conversations, a lot of communication coming back and forth, powerful, significant communication or conversations happening. It's also a card that can represent travel as well. Now, some of you might be traveling for a relationship or for business purposes. There just may be a lot of meetings or conversations around, whatever it is that this is about, whether it's about your future in at a certain job or workplace, or on a career path, or in a relationship, or with another project. There could just be around the middle or the third week of the month a lot of communication and conversations about it. There might be some travel as well. I do actually feel like a fair number of you may be traveling. Some of you it may be not so far traveling. Some of you it might be longer term traveling, like international traveling for some reason, whether it's for business or work, and it could be for a relationship with somebody that you're in a relationship with, but for some reason there's been distance between the two of you, and there's going to be traveling, either them to you or you to them, something like that, where you're going to be reuniting as well. Now, the Eight of Wands is accompanied by the Magician, very independent, powerful energy and person, the Magician. I always feel like the Magician is kind of the entrepreneur of the tarot. He, like the Queen of Swords, has also walked quite a long road to get to where he's at. He's now the Magician, but it took quite a long time for him to become a magician. He learned also through trial and error, success and failure, triumph and defeat. And he's now reached a point where he's reached mastery over each of the individual primary symbols of each suit in the tarot. He's reached a point in his path where he's the magician. He has all the knowledge, the tools, the experience, the wisdom. This is about being powerful and using all of that knowledge, tools, experience, and wisdom to take your dreams, your ideas, and what you want and manifest them into reality by using everything that you've learned on your path to becoming the magician. It's a card that says you have everything that you need, or the ability to gather everything that you need in order to manifest whatever it is that you want in your job, on your career path, in your business, in any project in your life, or in the relationship in your life too. This is a very independent, entrepreneurial, take charge kind of energy that's very powerful. It's a card about being empowered because of how hard you've worked to get to where you're at. So again, some of you, I'm feeling a bit of cautionary energy for some of you that are traveling, to be careful with all of your travel documents, especially if you're traveling internationally. Make sure you make copies of everything, passports and itinerary and stuff like that, any documents, that sort of thing. And also with business, even if it's a combination of traveling, I feel like you should just be detail oriented about paperwork and documents and things of that sort. So there may be lots and lots of communication and conversations around some long-term stability aspect of your life, whether it's in the concrete area of your life or more relationship area of your life as well. And I feel like you're the one kind of taking charge of that, or coming across as being the magician, being very powerful and empowered and taking charge of that. Now, at or towards the end of November 2018, we have the King of Wands and the World. It's kind of interesting because I'm getting different messages and they're so different because some of them is for like starting your own business or the business money arena of your life. Some of you, it's a different type of project in your life, and others of you, it's relationships. So it's sometimes a little challenging to sort them all out in a way that sounds cohesive. So at or towards the end of the month, we have the King of Wands in the World. So the King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy or person, Sun, Moon, or Rising, showing up as a king, but could be a female as well. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius person. I feel like for those of you for whom this would be the relationship area of your life, that this is the person that you are in relationship with, whether or not their sun sign is a fire sign or not. They're showing up as the King of Wands. Others of you, it could be somebody significant in your business or work or partnership life, or in the project that you're working on or with. It's a King of Wands, fiery energy, dynamic, energetic, probably easy on the eyes, charismatic, a good leader, a good delegator, doesn't tend to rest on their laurels for very long, sees the problem, finds a solution and fixes it. If that doesn't work, he'll find another way to fix it. Very charismatic, energetic energy. Sometimes a little restless, but he's a king showing up as a king too. He's showing up as a king too, so that means that he's also reached the mastery of his suit. For those of you in business, work, and career, I feel like there's a couple of different players here. I feel like the King of Wands and the Queen of Swords are two separate individuals who are significant in your life in this month in some way in regards to the business or money or financial or project area of your life. I feel like they're two distinctly different people and not you. So take that in consideration too. I feel like one of them might be more in the position of mentor or advisor, it could be partner, but I feel like the King of Wands is kind of standing out to me as the primary person. In relationship, same thing. The King of Wands is accompanied and clarified by the World, which is a card of completion and achievement. It's the last major arcana card in the deck. We start off, the first major arcana card is the Fool. He has the 0 at the end, and all the cards after the Fool are about the Fool's journey through life, our journey through life. and how we learn, grow, change, evolve, ideally anyway, etc. Until we get to the end, we've reached the top of the world, the top of the mountain, success and achievement. It's a card about major completion, major ending. And the thing is, through this reading, it looks like a period that's kind of half like contemplation, reflecting. I'm wanting something stable. I'm wanting something long term. Are my efforts? It could be that you may have fallen into some maybe hearing negative chatter, even if it's well-meaning, or and maybe having your own self-doubts. Kind of looking at what you're hoping to build, whether it's an actual work in finance or business, or in a project, or in a relationship. I feel like maybe something of it has happened. Maybe it's just been a long struggle, and you're just taking a second look at whether it's worth your investment. I feel like you're getting advice from somebody who's actually you're meant to hear it from. This Queen of Wands. And it's not like negative chatter like other people you may have been hearing. Are you sure? It doesn't look like you're getting much out of what you're putting into this. That's not what I'm talking about. This person, she or he, is giving good, savvy, practical, grounded advice too. So there's that. I think there may be a lot of conversations and communications about it, maybe more in the last half than the first half or the middle of the month. There could be travel attached to this in some way too. I feel like you're feeling more empowered in the last half of the month. And it looks like there's some completion energy. A major chapter or significant cycle has reached its end or is reaching its end at the end of November. It could be in a relationship. It could be a relationship or partnership a relationship is ending, whether it's a partnership or a romance. But I'm not really feeling that. I'm not really feeling like there's a break off of a partnership or in business or a relationship in love and romance. I feel like you and somebody else, could be a couple of other people, have reached a completion point. So there's a certain chapter, a certain cycle that's ending, a certain chapter that's ending, but you're transitioning on into something different. And I don't feel like you're doing it alone. So it could, it could also be that this, what you've been continuing to put into, even though there's been times of doubt and exhaustion, it's serving you well, because I feel like you're moving on to the next step in a positive way. I don't feel like a negative or really painful break or anything like that happening here. But I feel compelled to pull a few more cards just to take a quick short look at how it continues, maybe a little bit more either at the end of this month or the beginning of December. Just a real quick look. Four of Wands, one of the happy home cards, happy surprise, unexpected blessings. Why? Because the Eight of Pentacles, your hard work paying off. The Knight of Pentacles and the Hierophant. So I think a very tangible and sincere practical offer is coming that represents a deeper level of commitment or conventional commitment. I mean, in relationships, it could be that you're moving to the next stage, whatever that is. A project could be moving to the next stage. A partnership could be moving to the next stage. You could be moving up, in job or career path. I mean, again, general readings, it's could always represent a few different things, although the energy fundamentally remains the same. I feel like maybe playing out more in December, you're going to see a tangible manifestation of something else coming in and moving on into the next phase of something. So yeah, Scorpio, that pretty much wraps up your November 2018 reading. I hope you found it helpful and not too confusing. Again, if any of you would be interested in a more personal one-on-one reading, please feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you and set up a reading as quickly as possible. I do love and romance, of course, relationship compatibility charting, reconciliation spreads, or possibility spreads anyway, career, work, and finance, as well as investment readings. And I do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in all the main areas of your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. They're pretty popular towards the last few months of the year, although you can do them any time of the year. But a lot of people seem to like to order them when we're transitioning towards the end of one year and the beginning of a new one. And I also do channeled messages from past on loved ones, as long as there was a strong connection there. and gift readings as well, which are always popular during the holiday seasons. Nothing more personal than a personal reading. So you can find that information and contact details by clicking on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage or clicking on the description bar of all the videos that I post. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks, Scorpio, for the November 2018 mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I'm wishing you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.